Do we need to discuss this now, or do you want to discuss it at a later time?
Oh, now's good. I mean, we're right in the middle of it. Let's see it through.
So if we're doing Wednesday, what would we do? Maybe we could alter the time of City Hall use. Maybe
Well,
make it from 4
Mayor,
to 8.
you and I did. We discussed this briefly. We kind of discussed it enough to agree that it's something we need to talk about. I don't agree with every other day. I think that when there's a holiday, often it falls on a Monday or a Friday, so that would limit the availability of City Hall in that particular week. And we have one of the regular workers at City Hall isn't there on Friday anyway. In my mind, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the right days, are the best days to do it. To have public availability to City Hall and to the various and sundry departments there.
So when you say Wednesday, that would be all day on Wednesday, or limited hours? Actually,
we can discuss
on all 3
that.
days.
I think that I probably am that does not account for the fact that Friday is the day that people come in to pay court money. So maybe it should be Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't know. Isn't City Hall open on? Isn't the court clerk available on Fridays to the public?
Yes.
Okay, so we have to do Friday. And you're saying Wednesday night, so how about Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
And have City Hall closed to the public on Monday and Tuesday?
Yeah, let folks work without the interruption and the disruption.
All right.
And then we also don't have to pay anybody to clean the public areas for those 2 days.
So do you think we should limit the hours as well, Mr. Dilch? Such as making it 4 hours of availability to come into for the building? Would that work to our advantage as far as keeping the building cleaner? Or disinfected, I should say. The building always, for the most part, is clean, but now it's called disinfectant.
So you think it's a good idea, you've stated already that you think it's a good idea to have it open on Wednesday evening when the zoning officer and tax folks are there, correct?
Well, we need to keep it open on Wednesday. I mean, once again, there's a lot of people that still work, and that's their only availability to come in is on a Wednesday night. So we're not going to remove that. I would really prefer that we will agree that Wednesday has to stay in.
Yeah, we really should have made a motion before we started discussing it, but, okay, so then, I'll make a motion for the sake of discussion. We can always amend the motion. I make a motion that we reopen City Hall to the public with the codicil that we can come up with a management plan for daily disinfection. We reopen City Hall to the public on a limited basis Wednesday from the hours of 9 to 1 p.m. and again from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Thursday from 9 p.m. to 1 p.m. Friday from 9 p.m. to noon.
Sounds like it probably work. I'll second.
I'm sorry. What were the Wednesday evening hours?
6 to 8.
And there was a second, I seconded it. So I guess now we can discuss this a little bit more. Does other members of council have any input? What they think or we should do or not do? Going once, going twice?
So it was stated Wednesday from 9 to 1 and then 6 to 8. Thursday from 9 to 1 and Friday from 9 to 12.
Yes, that's what I said.
Okay.
What was Thursday again?
9 to 1.
9 to 1.
And Friday is 9 to 1.
Friday,
9 to 12.
Do you mind if I would change something a little bit? And that would be, I mean, we've got 9 to 1, 3 different days. Maybe we should have it so that people have the ability to come in the later part of the afternoon for those who come home from work a little earlier. I don't think it should be all 3 days of 9 to 1. It should, there should be one day of a break where it's different. Whether it would be 12.
What's your suggestion?
My suggestion would be it's 9 to 1 is 4 hours. Why don't we change one day so that it's I guess it would be Thursday from 12 noon to 4 p.m.
The City Hall's only open until 3:30 now, and the clerk is done at 3:30.
Well, then it would be, Thursday from, 11 to 3:30.
Okay.
I think that's
I mean, I
fair.
don't have a problem with that. If you want me to amend the motion, I'll do that.
All right, so Thursday's gonna be from, 11:30 to 3:30.
Amend my motion thusly. You get a second?
And I will, accept your friendly, amendment, and I will still, continue, second with the friendly amendment. So at this point here, we have a motion that's out on the floor now, in which Wednesday, the hours will be from 9 to 1, and then 6 to 8. Thursday will be from 11:30 to 3:30, and then Friday will be from 9 to, 1. So there was a motion and a second. All in favor?
Well, I do have one
Aye.
more question. I have a question. So Wednesday from 6 to 8, that's just the normal people that would normally be there, correct?
There would be 1 hour of the zoning officer's time and 2 hours of the tax assessor, tax collector.
Oh, so like we normally have it now is what you're
And
saying?
court.
And court, yeah, I'm sorry, and the court
Okay.
clerk. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So there's a motion, there's a second, and I've already stated the hours. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Hughes, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Abstain.
You abstain?
Yes.
All right.
Well, wait a minute. Hold it.
We're not done with this.
Mr. Hughes, if you're going to abstain, please make some comment. You had a great opening commentary on what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it. Now we've come up with a change, and you don't even indicate how you feel about it vis-a-vis your vote. So how do you feel about it?
Well, how I feel about it is I was put on a committee to take care of it, and you stepped down from the committee. And now apparently you're back on the committee again and making recommendations and making motions. So I'm gonna let you proceed with it.
No, I'm not back on the committee. You didn't make a motion. You made a bunch of comments. You didn't make any motion. Somebody had to make a motion to discuss it further. Are you saying that you think it's a bad idea to start out on a limited basis until we can get
No,
used to
I'm
it?
not saying that.
Do you feel any differently, given that you were apparently unaware that we don't have any funding to reimburse us for this?
I was not, that was not the impression that I got. And the information I got was it was 75% refundable through FEMA.
You didn't get the letter from the clerk day before yesterday?
I did not.
Okay. I'm sorry.
First off, for the record, I think Mr. Hughes put in a considerable amount of time, and I want to actually personally thank you, Larry, for your time and effort. I think you put it together well. I think we have one final component of this here, and that is getting the building fogged. And can somebody please shut the phone off?
Call from Chief.
You gotta get these
It's
phones.
my phone, but it's the house phone. I can't even do it.
Well, shut the ringer off.
And it's spam to boot.
It's spam. It's probably a telemarketer. Okay, tell them we're in a meeting. But Brady, just pick up the phone and put it right back down again. Anyway.
I can't shut
wait a
it off
minute,
with
wait a
the
minute, I wanna
alarm.
say something.
All right. We're just
Mr.
having a little
Hughes.
humor here.
Mr. Hughes, you did a good stuff. I didn't have the time to do that stuff, what you did. That's, probably the best way it could have been done. Call the manufacturer of the equipment, see what they think of it, review what was on iTunes. You did, thank you for what you did.
Thank you, Hughes. Moving forward here, we are being advised that Public Works is not going to be available to do this. I am absolutely not in favor of hiring somebody to come in. I think that's just going to literally rock our boat. There's nobody that's going to do it for a fraction of a cost. We need to come up with a plan as to what we're going to do here. Have you spoken to any of the office staff like you indicated you were going to? If they're wanting to do it?
I had not, no.
Okay. Were you going to ask anyone?
I will
You and
talk
I
to
had this
them.
conversation. I don't want to put you on the spot, Larry. I don't know.
The only thing I can do is talk to them. My personal opinion, we didn't hire them to clean the office. If they want to do that, it's entirely up to them, but I think we should compensate them for it.
I don't have a problem with the compensation. I hope certainly that the rest of council doesn't really have a problem with it, because honestly, we gotta get it done. It's not really part of the job duties. I mean, what are we talking? 15, 20 minutes of time to do it?
Half
Yeah,
hour
that's
tops.
it? Okay, so what would be fair? I mean, just to give an extra hour of compensation? Because we were asking somebody before to come in on their day off. Now we have somebody that's here on their day on. So, just compensate an additional hour. I don't have a problem with that. That's
How about
a
if,
fraction of the cost. That's a fraction of the cost if we were to hire someone.
what if council gave the reopening committee a budget of $50 a week to figure out how they're gonna fund payroll for this? I make a
Not a
motion
bad
that,
thought.
I make a motion that we set a budget of $50 a week and give the reopening committee the discretion to spend it as they wish to get the work done.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Mr. Solicitor,
Yes,
I guess we're going to have to do a roll call on this.
you will.
I'm sorry?
You do.
We do. All right, so there was actually a motion and a second. Mr. Hughes, I believe, seconded. Let's do a roll call.
But let me amend the motion. I want to amend the motion if I may. I amend it such that it would be renewed on a monthly basis at the council meeting so that we talk about this and review whether or not 3 days a month is enough, whether or not $50 is enough, whether or not it needs to continue at all. It's an ongoing matter. We should continue to discuss it. So I amend my motion to expire after 30 days. You second that, Mr. Hughes?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Do we really got to do that? I mean, why
Yeah,
don't we try to make this work for what we have here, and
we need
and
to
if it's
stay
not
aware.
working, then we just simply revisit it.
We need to stay aware. We need to be compelled to stay aware. That's why.
All right. Okay, so we'll revisit this if that has to happen.
Good.
Not a problem. On a month-to-month basis. Moving down the line here,
Have the vote on.
So,
we need the roll call. Did we start the roll call process?
You called it and then he amended it.
Mr. Dilge, you can't do this to me now. You interrupted my train of thought. Anyway, roll call please.
Bill,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Owen,
yes.
Mayor Venezia.
Yes. Does anyone else have any? Okay, so you know what? We are in new business, and I have a question for the solicitor. There was a request, somebody was interested to use our soccer field. They wanted to have a movie night out over there. They're most likely going to supply their own movie projector, but I mean, can they in fact even do that? Do they have to have a special rider insurance policy? I'm wondering what the cost of that is, but can you give some insight on that, Mr. Lafferty?
Well, it's not uncommon for municipalities to allow such events. Is this a not-for-profit or is it a for-profit?
It's a family that wants to have a birthday party for their 7 or 8 year old daughter, and they missed the birthday because of COVID-19 when it first started in March. Now they're having like a later on, but they want to have a little birthday party out there with a movie screen.
So it's not an event for profit.
There's no money exchange whatsoever. No.
Okay. I mean, typically what I tell my clients is that you're going to require them to have insurance, meaning the municipality is additional insured, and you're going to require an indemnity agreement from the user so that the municipality does not have exposure.
So I guess the question I now have is to our city clerk, Mrs. Kent. How much does it cost for the 1-day rider policy?
I'll have to look into the quote, so we get to that.
No, we don't buy the insurance.
No, we don't. Somebody will have to come to City Hall and pay the 1-day tulip policy, I believe it's called. If somebody wants to say what, Mr. Kent, you want to say what TULIP stands for?
Tenant user liability, I can't even remember, insurance policy. The JIF offers it, the TULIP program for those people who don't have insurance.
Okay.
Is it a minimal cost at best?
Probably, yes.
So I will get back to the family question and tell them that, they'll just simply have to come over here. But that is permitted, that we can do this, correct?
You can do it. Summers Point uses their beach for beach concert. Mays Landing uses their Lake Lenape Park for events.
Will we be able to do this, Mr. Lafferty, with regards to COVID-19? That seems to be that controls everything that we do nowadays.
It's going to be restricted by the current guidelines.
And the guidelines are how many people are allowed? 250, which I seriously doubt there'd be that many.
It depends on the space that's involved.
The soccer field.
I'm not going to start doing math. I believe Ms. Owen has her hand raised.
I do have a question. For those other places like Mays Landing, you said, and the other municipalities, they do it for like the community. What Mr. Venezia is speaking of is doing it for a person privately. Correct?
Well, yes, there is a family that wants to have a birthday party for her daughter. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to it myself. I think, that's what the taxpayers are paying for. We maintain the field, so that's paid for by each and every single person that lives in the community. I am not against somebody wanting to use the field. I would never say no.
I can tell you, there's no specific restriction. It would be different if it was a for-profit event, and even if it were, I can tell you that there was a beer festival that wanted to use Green Tree Golf Course, which would have been permitted, but the cost was prohibitive to them because they had to rent it. So you can do it.
Okay.
But you need to have the adequate indemnity agreement and insurance.
It's really no different than the Risley School. It was funded by the county under Green Acres, and that building is open to everybody who wants to use it. For the most part, I mean, as long as they have a time frame when they're going to do it, they just can't simply walk on into the building. But they can certainly make a reservation, make a date to use it. The meeting's not open to the public.
Who's responsible then for the, to make sure that all of the COVID things are adhered by at that point then? The regulations.
They're going to have to sign something, and that's a good point, because you also have to make sure you're not subject to potential liability under COVID.
Right.
The indemnity agreement is going to include indemnification for any COVID-related claims and assurance that there's going to be COVID compliance, which they are responsible.
Okay.
Does the city need to worry about any licensing for movies that are played?
No.
Okay.
That is on whoever's playing movies. It is not a city-sponsored event.
All right.
Okay, Mr. Lafferty, if I may ask, obviously, if the camera is on and you have people that are walking by or whatever, I mean, would it be something where it would be posted on the gate or something, private party, or how does that work? So that we don't have gate crashers coming in?
Well, I mean, we're not going to provide security.
No, I'm just simply saying, let it be known that it's, it's a private birthday party that's being utilized, and normally people don't really use that soccer field in the evening anyway when it's dark.
Whatever the user wants to post, they can post.
All right. So they can post something on the gate indicating private birthday party.
Sure.
Okay. Very good. Can't imagine somebody wanting to ruin a little girl's birthday party. That would be horrifying to hear about that, but.
I mean, the only thought, and this isn't a legal thought, my only thought is you just have to be careful about setting a precedent about the use of that facility for private events. And it may be something you want to do, but it could be a slippery slope.
I guess we'll have this conversation at a later time, but as of now, I guess it's okay that we do this, correct? Provided that they take out the TULIP policy.
And they
Correct.
an indemnity agreement that includes COVID guarantees.
Okay.
And assuming
And the
that's,
JIP has already supplied us with those COVID guarantees that are required, correct?
I'm sorry, what?
And the JIF has already provided us, or they probably will provide us with COVID guarantees?
I'm sure the JIF has a form. And it's obviously subject to the consensus of the governing body.
Right. All right. So is council okay? No problems with somebody having a birthday party for their little girl? Correct?
As long as they sign the waivers. They gotta accept full responsibility.
Okay. Anyone else? Any comments? If not, we're gonna move along here.
If we're done with this, I could like to make a comment in new business.
Go ahead.
Okay. With all the attention being given to proper record keeping and HR needs, I did some research and I sent a copy of the information supplied for HR certification classes. I believe each member of council, I tried to send it out this afternoon. I hope you guys got it. Just review it if you have the opportunity. Basically, the classes for certification in human resource officer is provided on an online type basis through that organization. If you are a member of the organization, you actually get it $100 cheaper. The total cost for certification in the exams are around $1,600. I think that would be money well spent if we're going to make sure that our city clerk is trained properly in the HR world and has every certification that she needs to perform that job properly. I think it would be a good thing for the city to do. So I'm just asking that members of council and the mayor review that information and let me know.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Hughes,
There's no
could
other. Mr. Olson, go ahead.
Could you send the email again? I don't see it here. I don't know if it went through or not.
Okay. If I tried to send it and I sent it to the mayor and I copied everybody else on it. If it did not go through, I will make sure I print out hard copies and put it in everybody's box tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you. So if there's no other new business, let's move on down to old business. What we have here is a couple things. One is the general code project, the status of that. I guess that's the code committee has forwarded over all of the amended ordinances to our solicitor, in which now Mr. Lafferty is probably in the review process. I would assume someone who's on the committee want to respond back.
It's in Mr. Lafferty's office right now. I don't know anything else but that. If that's not correct, I'm not even aware of that.
Okay, so
Mr. Lafferty.
He's muted.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Okay.
It's on me. It has been sent to me. We are preparing an omnibus ordinance to include all of those changes recommended by the committee. And we're also going to incorporate, for discussion at least, an amendment relative to the Pearson excavation issue to make it consistent with Pineland questions. And I know the public hasn't had a chance to comment on that yet. But assuming you introduce this omnibus ordinance, that issue will also be part of the discussion at the public hearing.
Okay. All right, so what's the committee's feelings? We got this project pretty well wrapped up, and we're just now waiting for the solicitor to have it finalized for us.
We should have the ordinance to you in time for the August meeting.
Very good. Thank you.
And Mrs. Owen, we discussed the dog barking ordinance also?
Yes, we, myself and Matt looked over the ordinance that we have currently, and the city clerk also sent over some other sample ordinances to look at for that. And after our review, we have decided to stay with the ordinance that we currently have for that.
Is there language within that ordinance that prevents continuous barking? Or is it
Yes.
time specified?
Yes, and it has time in the ordinance that's already in the code.
So my recollection is that the time is what, 8 p.m. till,
8 a.m.
what about during the day? Why should that be eliminated?
So we did research it, so if you would like to write something up and email it to us, we would take a look at that.
The only thing that I would say is I don't see why there should be a time frame to it. That's all. I have nothing further to say. It's right there. It's right there in front of you with what I'm saying. I don't think there should be time sensitive. It should be just simply preventing people from having dogs continuously barking. I mean, there's people that actually sleep during the day, that work at nights, let's just say. So that's their problem, that they have to work at nights and they can't sleep during the day because of a barking dog. I don't know. I just think that it's very simple. Remove the time. No big deal. It doesn't need to be rewritten or anything like that. Just take the time off.
Well,
If council would agree to that.
if I could just comment, a lot of the noise ordinances in general are time sensitive. And I'm assuming that your dog barking ordinance tracks those time limits relative to the noise ordinance. So I would just make you aware of that. They are very, very time sensitive.
Mayor, I would say, dogs, I'm not trying to be flippant, don't misunderstand. Dogs bark. If we put in place an ordinance that said dogs are not allowed to bark at any time ever, it becomes so onerous and unreasonable that you can't enforce dog barking at any time. If you leave it at 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., you probably have some shot at enforcement.
I actually think that you're putting words in my mouth. We're talking about persistent, non-stopping dog. A dog is always going to bark. Kid goes by on a bicycle, somebody's walking or whatever, their dog, and then another dog's good. Listen, I know how that works. But to just keep on going on and on and on, non-stop, this is where it's not right. I don't think any four of you would like to have a neighbor who has a dog that's just constantly barking at nothing. It's just not fair. So I don't necessarily agree with the time issue. I think it could be, made at any time of the day or at night, and it's continuous nonstop barking is what we're speaking of, not just an occasional bark. That's ridiculous.
I just had one question, if I may. In your research, did you find any other municipalities or cities whose ordinance did not have a time sensitive on it?
I didn't research the issue if you're referring to the question to me.
Pardon me?
They all had times, and it was all at night, overnight hours.
Okay. Okay. Moving along here, is there anything else under this, with the code committee? I want to move to something that's old business. Where are we with the, gov deals? Has any of that stuff been listed? Or not yet?
I can answer that.
That would be great.
At the time, I'm waiting for the title for the bucket truck. Because of the closing of, motor vehicle, I had to do it by mail. It has not come back to me yet, so I don't have a title for that. So I was going to do the auction all at once, but if you are ready to move, I can list them